All I need is for you to be kind to me, and we'll have no issues. Hello Bookworm family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Danny. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell because I'm posting lots of new content all the time lately and you want to be a part of it. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, please be sure to do that. It is at _dancing_bookworm. I post on there full book reviews and bookish content. My hat is crooked. Ugh, it's probably been crooked all day and no one's told me. Whatever. Anyway, so last month, the month of April's bookish TBR went pretty well. I had these 6 plus one book that I read as an audiobook. I had The Grimm's Fairy Tales by the Grimm's Brothers as Disney adapted. This is the only one that I have not read yet, and I do plan to read it this week. There's still about, I think, 6 days left in the month. I don't actually know what day we're on anymore. But there's like 6 days left in the month, so I do plan to finish reading this. I have read The Running Dream by Wendelin Van Draenen, and this was for prize winner. I have read Peace Locomotion by Jacqueline Woodson, which was for a short read. I have read Chasing Vermeer, which was for a mystery. This is by Blue Ballier. I have read Sarah Plain and Tall by Patricia McLaughlin, and that was for a classic. I read The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, and that was for pet pick. And I read Refugee by Alan Gratz, and that was for text a friend. I also read The Help by Catherine Stockett, and that was for a random number generator, I believe. So good month. I have finished that. I have mostly finished my Owls, which was also part of that. So if you guys want to see the wrap-ups and what I thought of those books, please check out my video next week, which will be my April wrap-up. Anyway, the month of May, though, we have 2 readathons that I'm participating in. So I'm going to talk about those books, and we're going to try to find a way to incorporate these books into my raffle pick. Now, my goal for this month is to make it middle grade May. I really want to get into some of my middle grade books. I've been slacking on them. So my goal for the entire month is to just read middle grade and children's books, hopefully, provided my buddy here allows it. So I am participating in the Believe-a-thon. If you don't know what that is, it is a readathon that is hosted by Gav from How to Train Your Gavin. It is 2 weeks long and it follows a whole compendium that he made following a story and a trail and all this cool stuff. He can explain it way better. I will link his video down below. But he's amazing. I love his videos and I'm really excited to be able to participate in Believe-a-thon. So for the Believe-a-thon, we have 5 books already that I'm going to be participating in reading. Now, these were my own pick, but I had to follow a certain trail. So everybody starts at the first place, which is the Poacher's Pocket Inn, and that prompt is to read the first book in a series. So I will be rereading The Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. If you guys don't know what this is about, it is about a bunch of kids who have the gift of magic. Like, it's not like a special power or anything, it's just they're really good magicians, whether it be sleight of hand or certain tricks of sorts. One girl's an escape artist. But anyways, a boy moves to town and he is kind of looked down upon because he's been kind of using his magic for not good things, and he tries to he gets picked up by some people who want to use his magic for bad, but then he meets this group of people and they want to use his magic for good, so he has to make that ultimate choice of what side he's going to be on. I did read this, I think it was last year I read it, but I have kind of forgotten about it, and I do want to read the entire series, so I figured we would reread this one to start off Believe-a-thon. This is also by Neil Patrick Harris, who is one of my favorite actors, so also an amazing book. The next one I'm following the path on like the left or the right, I don't know, one of the side paths. I'm not jumping around paths. That was one of the passes that you could do, is you could use one of your genie wishes to jump around to different paths, but I'm staying on one path. And the next one is Yellow Brick Road, which is to read a TBR vet, and I will be reading Ballet Shoes by Noelle Streatfeild, and this is about 3 sisters who they were adopted randomly by a guy who's not really around, so his niece or daughter or somebody's raising them. I've seen the movie briefly, but basically these 3 girls are kind of talked into joining a performing arts school. One becomes a really great actress, one becomes a really good ballerina, and the other one is not really loving anything about being at the performing arts school, but she does it because they're making money off of it to help support their family. The movie did star Emma Watson, and I have seen it a couple different times, but I have never read the book, so this has been on my TBR for a long, long time, ever since I saw the movie for the first time. The next path I'm going to be following, or the next house I'm going to, is the 100 Acre Woods, and that is to read a book with yellow on the cover, and I will be reading Book Scavenger. This is by Jennifer Chambliss Bertman, and this is about a girl who is forced to move to, I think it's San Francisco, and that is the home of her favorite author, who not only writes amazing books, but writes them in a mystery format where you have to go find the books and follow the clues, but he ends up going missing, and it's up to her to find him. The next book on the path that I'm going on is The Brawley Trail, which is a reference to Nevermore, and that is to read a book about transportation. So I will be reading Pegasus, The Flame of Olympus. This is by Kate O'Hearn. One of my dancers recommended this book to me and actually left it in my mailbox so that I could read it because she really wanted me to. So I figured, what a great time to read it during middle grade May. I'm not really sure what this is about. It says, when Pegasus crashes onto the roof of Emily Manhattan's apartment, her life changes forever. Emily is thrust into the center of a fierce battle between Roman gods and a terrifying race of multi-armored stone warrior called the Nereids. But on the back it does show her flying on the Pegasus, so it will count as transportation. And the last one for Believeathon is to end at the Bookkeeper's Stronghold, and that is to read the next book in a series, so I will be reading Magic Misfits 2 by Neil Patrick Harris, and this just follows the first Magic Misfits that I'll be reading. So the second thing that I'm taking part in this month is Reading Rivalry, and that is a Facebook group that kind of competes as different teams. I've done it before, I've talked about it before on here, but basically you compete against each other to try to see who can score the most points. Points are based on how much you're reading, certain bonuses that you have to do, and this month's theme is anniversary TV shows. So you have to sign up for a team. I have my 3 selections. I don't know which team I'm on yet, but then they give you a bunch of prompts. Now this month they're doing it a little different. They're doing it as a bingo board, so you have to score a bingo in order to get 5 bonus points, and then all the books that you read will also be counted towards that as certain prompts. So the first one I decided to go with a bingo that I could incorporate at least one of my Believeathon books with, and that is a book that was a Goodreads choice, and so I am doing Magic Misfits for that one too, since it's part of a different reading thing. I can use it for both prompts, so Magic Misfits will count for that as well. However, the rest of them I did pick other books, so I needed a book that contained a prologue or an epilogue. I really did want to stick with the middle grade theme, even though this isn't a middle grade readathon, it's all levels, but I wanted to stick with that because I just wanted to have that be a part of my month. So I'm going to be reading The Star Shepherd by Dan Herring and Marcy Kate Connolly, and this says, when the world was first formed, the night was black and filled with dark creatures. The elders knew their people couldn't survive under such a threat, so they made the ultimate sacrifice. They gave their hearts to the sky in the form of brightly shining stars. Now 11-year-old Cairo is the Star Shepherd like his father. He spent his life tucked away in the outskirts of town of Dread. There, the family watches at night for falling stars and rushes to rescue them when they do. So this is what I have picked for contains an epilogue or a prologue, and this contains a prologue. So then the next one was a book that's containing magic, so I decided to finish up the Magic Misfits series. I figured literally it has magic in the title, and I will be reading The Minor Third, which just follows the first and second books. Then it was a book with multiple cover art, so I have picked The Book Wanderers by Anna James. This is about a girl who can kind of transport to worlds of different books like Wonderland, Narnia, all that stuff, and kind of her journey of that. And this fits because the UK edition of this book is actually called Tilly and the Book Wanderers, and it has a slightly different cover, but still a different cover than the USA version, which is this one. So that is what I'm using for that. And then the last book that I'm doing for that reading rivalry is to read a book with an anniversary edition, and I will be reading the first Little House on the Prairie book by Laura Ingalls Wilder, and I don't have that yet. It's getting shipped in sometime this week. So that's what I'm reading before I even start my TBR raffle. So let's hope my TBR raffle can incorporate some of these. Otherwise, again, we're going to have a giant TBR, but it's going to be even more giant than the last TBR because I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books. 9 books already picked out. And now I have to pick 7 more. I don't have to pick any bonus books because I did finish, well, I am finishing my TBR for the month of April, but I still need to pick 7 books. So we're going to jump into that now and cross our fingers that we can incorporate some of these books in. Here we go. So my first pick is a work-related book, a book about dance, teaching, or acting. Perfect! This is perfect. I can use ballet shoes for that prompt. So that works out perfectly. So I will use Ballet Shoes by Noelle Streatfeild since I am a dance teacher. And this is about dance, and it also has dance teachers in it. So perfect. All right, here we go for number 2. This is a book with a one-word title. I don't think I have any of those picked out already, so I'm gonna have to go to the shelf. Okay, this one took a little bit, but I am going to be reading Messenger by Lois Lowry for one-word title. This is the 3rd book in the Giver series. This one's about a boy who lives in a village where it's under the guidance of a blind man who is known as the Seer, and he can see things beyond what other people can see even though he is blind. And the, I guess, village is a little bit under threat, so they send Maddie out to travel through the forest to try to fix the problems, and he discovers a power within himself. So I have read the first 2 books of the Giver series already. I have not read this one before, but I do know that Giver is a little bit like middle grade going into YA almost. It's like teeters on that 13, 14-year-old level. So it's a little bit YA, but I would still classify it as middle grade because I read The Giver the first time in 7th grade. So I would still classify it as middle grade, even though I think it starts teetering on what is considered YA. But that's what I'm going to do for one-word title. So let's pick the next one. A graphic novel. I actually don't have any graphic novels in mind, so I'm gonna have to go look at my Kindle, I think, to figure out what graphic novel I want to read. Okay, so for graphic novel, I'm either going to have to buy it or see if I can get it on my library's Overdrive app, but I am going to be reading Nightlights by Lorena Alvarez, and it's about a girl who, before she falls asleep at night, little stars dance around her room. She captures them and turns them into creatures who she can play with until she wakes up the next morning, and when she wakes up, she draws pictures of the creatures. However, she suddenly gets these drawings noticed by somebody who has sinister plans for them. So that's pretty much what the summary said. So it sounded really good. It was one of the first ones that I found online. So I'm going to either buy it or rent it on ebook, something, but that's going to be the graphic novel that I read. So let's keep going. A new adult book, so this is going to affect my middle grade reads, which stinks, but I do love new adult books, so I just need a minute to figure out which one I have on my shelf that'll work for this, but I really wanted only middle grade reads this month. Dang it! Okay, when I said one-word title took me a long time, I didn't expect this to take twice as long. I've literally been sitting here for almost 20 minutes looking for a book to fit new adult that I want to read. I picked a book that I think people would argue would be new adult. However, new adult to me is with the main character being between the ages of 18 and 25-ish. And this book's main character is 19. However, it is a memoir book, so that's why I'm saying people could argue that it's not new adult, but to me it's new adult. So I will be reading Girl Interrupted by Suzanne Kaysen. If you guys don't, or Susanna Kaysen, sorry, if you guys don't know what this book is about, it is the true life story of a girl who is put into a psychiatric facility back in the 1960s when they were still using electroshock therapy and not great methods. There she meets a wild, rambunctious bunch of girls who they all get into a little bit of trouble. This is also a movie starring Winona Ryder. That is the only way that I know this, but I do know that the main character has borderline personality disorder, and I'm interested to read more. So I only know it based off the movie, so I'm hoping to see how different the book is. And yeah, that's going to be my one, like, provided, cross my fingers, it's going to be my one non-middle grade this month. So I still have 3 more picks. So that took forever, but I still have to pick 3 more. So let's get picking. My newest purchase. Oh, geez. Okay, I've recently been on a little bit of a purchase binge, but I have a lot of new purchases, like a lot of new purchases to pick from, so this shouldn't take long to find. Okay, this didn't take long at all, and I could have played it safe and used Star Shepherd because that recently came in a new purchase that I just ordered too, but I decided to kind of branch out a little bit, but pick a short one so that I wasn't overwhelming myself, and I'm going to be reading Dear Dumb Diary by Can Adults Become Human? This is by Jim Benton. I loved the Dear Dumb Diary books as a kid. This is a middle grade book about a girl who just her whole life is in these ridiculously sarcastic journals that she keeps, and I think they're hilarious, so I'm going to use this one. It's a simple, easy read, but I am looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. Alright, so we've got 2 more to go. Okay, not too bad. We have a sci-fi. So I should be able to find a sci-fi in here somewhere in my middle grades. Not any of the ones that I picked apparently, but somewhere in my life I have a sci-fi middle grade. Please hold. Okay, so this is a pretty easy pick. I am going to read Sun by Lois Lowry. This is the last book of the Giver series, which the whole series is a science fiction world, like a fictional world that takes place in a dystopian future. This specific one is about a girl who is a vessel, which means she's somebody who has babies, but she's not allowed to keep the babies. She just gets pregnant over and over and over again and gives the babies to other people. She's then dumped into a different area because she's no longer needed, and she goes on a journey to find her son. So this is another one, and when I finish Messenger and Sun, I will have finished the Giver series, so that's kind of cool. So I should catch up in the Magic Misfits series to like wherever the last one has ended. I think he's doing more, but Magic Misfits should be done by the end of this month, and Giver should be done by the end of this month, which is kind of cool. Alright, I think I have one more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I have one more. Last pick. Here we go. Right, and okay, so we have an LGBTQIA representation in a book, and I am going to use, I'll use one of the Magic Misfits book. I don't think I've used one yet, so I'm going to use just general Magic Misfit book, as the one main character's parents are 2 men, so there's gay representation in this, which is awesome, and I don't have to pick another middle grade, which is even more awesome. So that's the books that I'm going to be reading. Let's see what they look like all stacked up. Okay, so I have my stack of TBR books here. We have ballet shoes for a book related to my job. We have Messenger for a one-word title. I then have a blank book sitting in here to represent graphic novel, which I chose to be Neverlights. I then have another blank book in here to represent Girl Interrupted for new adult. Then we have Dear Dumb Diary, Can Adults Be Human Too? And that is for newest purchase. I then have Sun for science fiction, and then I have LGBTQIA rep for Magic Misfits. And that doesn't seem too bad, but when you stack those on top of these, which are for my other readathons, it gets a little scary. There's some choices here. I don't even know where I'm going to start with this. I think this is bigger than the last time. How many books do I have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13. Last month was 12, and I made it through that. So 13, and most of them are middle grade, so it shouldn't be too bad, right? I mean, hey. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope TBR doesn't kill me this month. We'll find out. But thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Wasn't that a great video? Clearly books make me very happy. Now you can make me happy too. Click the subscribe button to follow my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you think I did good. And the notification bell will let you know when I post new content. Also, follow my Instagram for more book shenanigans.